There we go. We got live on Facebook. Okay, I had a minute where I had to start over. I was jamming out to my walk on music. Okay, we're back, you guys. Those of you that were just on a minute ago, I'm sorry I had to pop off because um, I couldn't get live on Facebook. But this is day 4 of the Breakthrough Boot Camp, and I am just so pumped because we've had so many breakthroughs this week. We've talked about your hey everyone that's popping on. I'm so glad to see you guys. This is my walk on song. So before I get on, those of you that were born at a certain time period in the 1900s would know the song. So before I walk on stages and before I teach and before I ever go live, I always play this in the background or in my car. I just stood by my desk and danced to it. Remind myself that I'm a shooting star and so are you guys, right? Hey Laura, hey Laura in Richmond. Don't you know you're a shooting star? We're going to cover some awesome stuff today. I just want to get you guys in the mood that I'm in. It's Friday. Okay, so you guys, we're going to talk today. We've talked about all the things that kind of affect your life and relationships, and we've looked at your head, your heart, your soul, and today we're going to look at your body. Like, what effect is your relationship or lack of? What are the relationship dynamics? What are they? What kind of an effect are they having on your physical body? You guys know your heart, your mind, your soul, they're all working in tandem. You have a circuitry in your body that is always feeding messages to all parts of you. And the place where it will show up the most where it will show up and show you solidly how you are doing is in your body. It's in your health. It's in your well-being. It's in either the ease you're having with health or the dis-ease you're having in your body. The word dis-ease comes from the words dis-ease, and it actually is about the dis-ease you're having, that it's showing up, it's manifesting as a malfunction of physical of functioning, because there is a dis-ease of the emotional body. You guys, only about 10%, Joe Dispenza is coming out with this research, only about 10% of what is going on with you medically is because of genetics. 10%, that's what they're finding out. 90% of what is going on with you physically has to do with how you are dealing with your life, what your thought patterns are, the belief systems that you have, how you are clearing and healing emotions through your emotional body, how you are being in the world is represented by your physical health. Now, look, I'm not a medical doctor. I got to give you this caveat. I have a PhD in counseling and education. I am a doctor, but I'm not an MD. This is not medical advice, nor is it meant to be medical advice. This is not therapy. This is not counseling. This is knowledge and wisdom that is flowing through me from spirit, from my 25 years of working in the field of doing, thanks, Misty, of doing clinical practice, of working, of researching, and then I used to teach at those of you that don't know my history, I got my undergrad in early childhood education. I used to be a school teacher, but I always knew I wanted to teach and I knew I wanted to write. And fast forward, I ended up writing a book called The Fatherless Daughter Project, which did extremely well. It was a best-selling book when it came out. And I did a ton of research around how trauma of loss affects the body. Fast forward a year, I had a major spiritual awakening, and I started studying spiritual practices, the effects of the emotions and the spirit on the physical body, on the psychological body. And I started studying shamanic techniques. I started understanding, like, our ancestors used to have a great handle. The Native American culture, indigenous people used to use the earth to heal. They used their own energy systems. They used tinctures and oils and sound and water and the sun. And, you know, I won't go off on my long tangent about how we've been taught not to connect in a way that is meant to keep us healthy, because I do think there is a lot in it for the pharmaceutical companies to stay in business. If they can convince you that you have an illness, they can also convince you that you need the drug that they will share with you the moment after they come up with a new diagnosis. Have y'all not noticed that there is a drug that comes out right afterwards that will help you either feel better or at least treat your symptoms, so you're never totally well. And there are wonderful people in the medical practice. Don't get me wrong. There's a time and a reason to seek pure medical attention, but there is so much more that you can do on a daily basis, that where you don't need all of the pharmaceuticals and all of the drugs that are just treating symptoms, where you can find a way to heal your body. You actually can heal your body. I don't know if you guys follow Joe Dispenza. If you don't, look him up. He is just a maverick when it comes to this stuff. He had a skiing, I think it was skiing accident. He had a major accident, and he may have been on a motorcycle. I can't remember, but anyway, he had a severe accident that ended up fracturing and disabling his spine. And he went to actually Life University here in Atlanta. He was a chiropractor, so he understood the physics of the spine. And they told him he would never walk again, that he needed this detrimental, very risky surgery. He lay in a hospital, and he decided, because he had studied mind body spirit connection, that he would tell his body how to heal itself because he understood the structure of the spine. He laid in that hospital bed, being told that he would never walk again, and told his spine how to heal itself, and claimed health, and would not give into the vibration of fear, of predictability, that he could never walk again. And he healed his spine miraculously, and now he does all this amazing work. I'm obsessed with Joe Dispenza. He was able to walk again. Now he's one of the top speakers in the world, and he's doing research on it. And what they're finding is that your DNA does inform your well-being, but only 10% of it is predetermined by genetics. 10%. So all of those illnesses, you guys, I speak about this all the time because I used to get into it. I understood it. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that all your diseases are your fault. There are some that you've gotten from a genetic component. Um, Thanks, Lauren. There are some that are genetic, like I know someone, Lauren specifically. There's some things that, that I know that some of you, because I've worked with you, that you may have that are ailments that you incurred because of genetic issues. I had a son that was born with birth defects. Were those his fault? No, those were genetically determined. But I also know that, I'm just going to drop this in here. We think that we would never choose it. The purpose to a lot of times when we have really severe illnesses is to raise the consciousness of our family, and there is usually always a purpose that comes through our medical conditions, that comes through what we are taxed with genetically to face, because you do choose your body when you come into this body. You choose your body, you choose your family, you choose when you come, you choose the town that you're born into. You do that. That's all determined on a soul level, on a soul contract level. You choose your parents. I know that's hard to believe, but if you work with me, you will have so many aha moments and understand how on a soul level you choose these. A lot of times you're cleaning up old karma from old lifetimes, but a lot of times, this life is here to serve a purpose. And so often when we're facing the most thank you, Misty. Oh, yes. She says God supported everything on the earth. Yeah, all of it. Yes. Even crystals are made by God. They're not from a witchy thing. They are actually created by God's earth. You're correct. Um, you were born into a situation that created dynamics that would have you live a life where you could grow, and where you could influence the collective, whether that's your family's microcosm, whether that's your peer group growing up. Oftentimes when kids have illnesses, and I can speak about this because I have a child that's had them, what it does is it serves to bring the family together. It serves to, like, part of my son's illnesses served to wake me up, because I realized how much, and I'm going to feed into this, I'm going to tell you the story. So my son was born with a lot of birth defects, and I'm going to encapsulate this into a really short story. A lot of you have heard it. My sweet little Hoyt. And when I was after he was born, he was in the hospital. So he was in the ICU and the NICU 49 times over about a 3.5, 4 year span. He did die for 5 minutes once in my arms. He died, was flatlined twice in the hospital, had to be resuscitated. It was touch and go, life or death, many, many times. Um, and I got into the belief system that we were going to be going through what we were going through. So yes, there was a genetic component to his dis-ease. Okay, so there was. I, though, had a mindset where I was like, oh my gosh, every time he got his issues were throat and lung. And in my mindset, I gave into this paradigm that every time he was going to get a cough, it was going to lead to bronchitis, pneumonia. We'd be hospitalized, and it would be life or death. And it's kind of like it's what I had learned because he'd been through it. So every time he would start to get sick, I literally would start packing a bag, and I would say out loud, okay, in 5 days, we're probably going to be in the ER. Now, I ended up pulling my twins out of school because I didn't want them. They were in preschool, to bring home any more illnesses, which wasn't altogether wrong. But I would go down this rabbit hole of and I would start speaking about it. Well, I need to get this ready. I need to get that ready. I need to call the doctor. And sure enough, and not that I was causing it, but I was recreating a paradigm that was really similar to one that I had growing up, that was really centered around illness and a lot of fear and paranoia around it. And so I was talking about it so much. Now, I was spiritual then. And so, there was also a lot of giving of prayer and energy work, and I was starting to wake up. And when I had my spiritual awakening in 2014, he was 4 at that time. Some very severe stuff had happened in our lives. We'd lost somebody, two people very close to us. Hoyt, the pivotal moment was Hoyt walked into a pool at a resort, and I didn't see him do it because I was planning the funeral of a loved one on my phone. And I turned around and I saw a shadow in the bottom of the pool, and he'd had floaties on it. And he'd pulled them off. He'd stepped out of them, and I looked and I was like, I threw the phone and I jumped in the water, pulled him up and saved him. He had gotten water in his lungs though, so we immediately um, I took him to CHOA here in Atlanta Children's Hospital, and he got very sick. He got double pneumonia, and he was in ICU, a very intense situation. I had been my awakening had happened about 2 3 months 2 months before this, so I was on fire. And when he finally got released, he was in for about, I don't know, it was like 5 or 6 days. Um, I just had this moment. Something said to me on the way home, and I didn't intend on telling the story, but I want to tell you guys. Something said to me on the way home, tell him it is over. Tell him he is healed, that the doctors and God source have healed him, and that he has healed himself, and that he will not go into the hospital again, and that this journey, I'm getting such chill bumps as I'm saying it. Anyone else getting chill bumps? It's over. So we got out of the car. I got home. I knew that I was going to be getting divorced soon. That was something else that was happening. And it was just a lot of chaos in my house. And I finally got this strong sense. And it was the most sure thing I'd ever known. And I turned to little Hoyt. He was about to turn 4. And I held his little shoulders and I said, Hoyt, guess what? It's over. It's done. I'm like, the doctors healed you and you healed you and God healed you. I'm like, it's done. You don't ever have to go through this again. We're not doing this again. And from then on, whenever we would start to get sick, I would look at him and I would say, your body can heal itself. Tell your body it's going to heal itself. And so, what I do now, whenever he gets sick and I get sick, is I use those words. I say, I can heal myself. Thank you, body, for healing myself. I don't go on and on about how sick you are. I don't prep you for the next stage of the illness. Now, I'm still smart. I still practice, smart medical intervention when needed. But I will tell you, after I told him that, after 49 times in the NICU, in the ICU, we never admitted again. He never got that kind of sick again. The one time he got that kind of sick again, he got COVID and got pneumonia. And I prayed over him, and he could see at the time. And we would call Jesus in the room and Archangel Michael and all kinds of stuff. And he would tell me that they were there because he would still talk about that he could see. And the healing would come. And so, what I want to share with you, so that's a really beautiful story. And I'm only going to really not going to go into too much depth because we've only got about 10 minutes to go, because I promised you guys 1 to 1:30. Of course, I was a little bit late today coming on, so maybe I'll stretch it a little bit more. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk to you about how much your mind, that was a perfect story about, and this is how I function now. I tell my body on a regular basis when I start to get sick. Now, I will tell you, back then I had chronic illness. I was in a relationship where I was forbidden from speaking up about how I disagreed with my partner at the time, how I just with my husband at the time, I was changing my viewpoint, and I was literally, there were so many topics that I was not allowed to talk about. I was never allowed to talk about my past. I was silenced and bullied and yelled at and silenced. And what ended up happening is, and we're going to cover this today, is that what it did was, you have a throat chakra. You have 7 main chakras that run up and down your body. And your throat chakra functions and it's healthy when you're able to share your truth, when you're speaking with courage and truth and authenticity. Your throat, all of your chakras are spinning in a certain direction, right or left, depending if they're masculine or feminine in structure. And the throat chakra is a very masculine, right? It's about power, it's about expression. It's a very masculine energy center. Well, when you're not able to speak your truth, when you are being shut down, or when you are lying about your truth, what will happen is you will often get a dis-ease in your throat chakra. And what happened to me when I was in that situation, leading up around the same time when this happened with Hoyt, I had such chronic bronchitis and I was getting laryngitis all the time. I mean, literally, he was getting sick. I was getting sick. The twins were getting sick. I twice completely lost my voice. That's never happened to me before that. It's never happened to me since. When I started understanding this and I realized, because I was not honoring myself, because the relationship that I was in, and God bless him, he was moving out of his own pain. And the reason he was projecting so much suppression onto me was because he also, I think, was experiencing the same inability to express really who he was. So I'm going to leave that there because this is someone that still is in my world. But, full compassion for that, because what happens when we're in relationships that are suppressing a part of us, okay, where we're building anger, where we're building resentment. If you're in a relationship and, oh, you're welcome, Melanie. Thank you for enjoying that story. When you're in relationships where you are harboring and you're not able to be who you are going to trap emotion in your body, in your chakra systems, in your physical body, in your energy centers. Emotion's natural state is movement. Emotions are energy. Energy's natural state is movement. Energy is not meant to stand still. The energy, when you turn the light on, it doesn't just sit. It's meant to go and return, go and return. There are waves of frequency. You are carrying in your energy body, and we've talked about this week. You have a Merkaba of energy sitting off of you. It's about 3 meters wide. It's comprised of your heart frequency, what you're thinking of, electromagnetic wavelengths, the magnetism of your heart. It's 60 times more powerful than your mind. So not only are you emanating it out, but it's also reverberating and coming back, and you're experiencing that in your cells. So, whatever you believe to be true about your health, now I'm not talking about the 10% that is genetic, okay? Although I do believe you also have all the power over that. I do believe in medical interventions for certain things. I also believe that you can, just like Joe Dispenza literally healed his spine. When you get to the level of when you work on your spiritual practice and you get to the level where you have learned how to reach enlightenment and you've learned how to raise your frequency so high, illness cannot exist. That's why at Joe Dispenza's retreats, when he works with people over a week's time, and I do some of this work too when we meet live and in my groups. At his level, he does that very, very well. But when you are working on your frequency, what you will find out over time is that, Sherry, I see you. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the comments in the because I'm trying to tend to you guys. Yes. Whoops. Sorry. What you will find out is over time. Sherry says, during my first marriage, I held so much stress that I lost 20 pounds and only weighed 99 pounds at divorce. Yes, it was killing you. So yes, I did the same exact thing. I got down to about the same thing. And you know what's happening when your body, your body, literally, I used to say that too. I'm dying from the inside out. And I will tell you, when I've left the toxic relationships, and that one isn't the only one, I reattracted it many times. And I'm sorry for getting off of whatever I was saying before, because I know it was important. You have the ability to heal your body when you're operating at that high frequency, like I mentioned yesterday, which like Jesus would walk around with. That's why healings happened with him, because illness cannot. Same here, Melanie. Yeah, I know this is most women that I work with, and men too, but most women have been through detrimental relationships where they became a shell of themselves, because this is what I went through too, and this is why I went back to school. And what happened during my spiritual awakening is I finally understood the spiritual component after spending 20 years of research on the psychological component. I researched trauma. I researched infidelity because I didn't understand the psychology of infidelity. I didn't understand how the psychology of abuse. And so I did all this research on trauma and what happens in the body, what happens to you spiritually, how you find meaning again. This is what I got my PhD in. I did this for decades. And then when I had my awakening and I started understanding and studying people like Joe Dispenza's work, Abraham Hicks' work, Dolores Cannon, now I read, Barbara Marciniak I'm into. They talk time and time again about the ability that you have to stay in the vibration of wellness. And when you are reaching levels of very high frequency through practice, through healing your heart, through clearing your energy systems, through moving the emotion, like we covered yesterday when we talked about your heart. If you haven't seen that one, go back and watch. If you haven't seen day 1, 2, and 3, please go back and watch. They're still in the feed. You have the ability through looking at and being responsible for your mindset, what you're thinking at all times, what is going through your mind, what is the paradigm of health that you have, what were you raised to believe, how afraid are you now, the the great awakening that's been happening on the planet because of our COVID situation. That is what was waking up. Millions of people are realizing that we have been indoctrinated with the belief that you have to rely on the pharmaceutical systems to heal yourself. Now, I do think that there are certain pharmaceuticals that have been around for decades and that have been well tested that are there to serve your body. Yes, God gave certain scientists revelation, Spirit gave, their higher selves gave them healing properties for certain medicines that do work, and they've been proven over decades to work. Yes. What I'm not a fan of are all these diagnoses that keep getting created, and then they tell you that you need their medicine to heal you, but what's only doing is it's treating symptoms and it's keeping you sick, so then it's being churned. I fully believe that these systems are structured to keep you sick. I know there are very beautiful people in the medical industry. I'm sort of in it because I have worked in a hospital. I'm not a medical doctor, and there are people that are there that are doing really good work. So I'm not saying that everyone is bad. It's not that. The greater system where the money is, I think, is created. So once you start understanding that, like, maybe all the answers really aren't here outside of myself. And if I can just tell you for a moment, so many of the answers are in yourself. I'm reading Barbara Marciniak's book, Earth, right now. And gosh, I felt so compelled to go back to Native American healing work. I've been reading White Eagle's work. I mean, these are books that have been around for decades. But now that this kind of awakening and understanding that maybe we've been manipulated a bit, because there are a lot of people. Well, excuse me, there are a small amount of people that have made the most amount of money the last 3 years and the last 50 years by churning this belief system with you and keeping you in fear. And so, what I want to work with you on, and what I would love to continue to work with any of you that this resonates, is bringing your power back. And, while there is a time for medicine, you guys, the earth, right now it's raining. One of the most powerful times you can actually go walk barefoot on the earth and ground and experience healing is after it rains. Right now I'm in Atlanta. It's been storming. If you go walk around outside after it rains, or when the dew is on the ground, and you just stand on the ground and you just say, I allow the healing properties to move through me. I mean, the indigenous people, it will move up through your feet. They've shown this medically. It actually sends, so the earth you're carrying around. Now I'm going to use the words positive and negative. It doesn't mean good and bad. Batteries have a positive and negative side. Energy has ions have a positive and negative side. It's just the charge, right? So you're walking around all the time picking up these positively charged ions of energy all day long, and they weigh you down, right? The earth is filled with negatively charged ions that when you walk barefoot, they will automatically harmonize. Okay, science has shown this. Improve your immune system, decrease inflammation. So the main cause of most diseases in the body is inflammation. And you guys know that this is happening through diet and through stress. So, I will give you, I always infuse these kinds of, and I say shamanic because to me, shamanic is about using the earth to heal us. It's about going back to our ancestral lines, indigenous, Native American people. They didn't buy like $1,000, high tech tents and blankets and, all the wonderful products they have out there that are meant to help you when you're in the wild. They would just often go and lay naked if the elements, you could do that, and they would allow the body's healing properties. I mean, God has taught when I'm in meditation, that comes through all the time. That if you knew, but that the reason that it doesn't work immediately with us is because we don't believe that it can. But Joe Dispenza wrote a book called "You Are the Placebo." Placebo theory is very true. Science has shown that if you take something that you think is going to help, it actually almost every time works just as well as the actual drug. Why is that? It's because your belief system, your mind and your heart, your thoughts and your emotions are speaking to your cells in every moment. You have the ability to restructure your DNA in every moment. If you want to know more about that, you have to join one of my programs or work with me individually, because this is something that I feel so strongly about. I'm still learning about it, but I will tell you, when I get sick or when I have something that goes wrong, I will say to myself, and I learned this from, it's a shaman. I can't remember his name right now, but Bruce Lipton. No. Anyway, I will say, thank you, body, for healing. When I get sick, and I had an injury, I shattered my wrist about 2 years ago, and I had to have pins and plates, and I went through a whole situation where I got an infection, or supposed infection. Anyway, and I had a PICC line in, and I had to give myself all this medicine. It was a very life-changing experience for me, and it caused major depression because I was on such heavy antibiotics for about 6 months. And after it all was done, 3 surgeries and a couple of hospitalizations, they wanted to do another surgery on my wrist because it didn't. The healing caused one of the bones. They were just a little bit still misaligned. And the surgeon, their solution is surgery, because that's what they do. And they usually do it very well. And many of them are tremendous healers. I did not want to have another surgery. So what Spirit gave me as I started asking is, they said, work with your arm, run energy through it. This bone, they wanted to shorten, they wanted to do an osteotomy, they wanted to shorten my ulna and then put more pins in to make it to where it sits, because it kind of, when it healed, long story short, they wanted to shorten my bone. And nothing in me, like my body was in such disagreement. So I've learned how to tune into my body. And whenever they would talk about it, I would totally retract. And I went to my healers and my spiritual people, and they were like, no. So what I ended up doing was I ended up working with my arm. I called in certain massage healers to help me for about 6 solid months. Every day I would say, thank you, arm, for healing. I'm telling my bones and my systems to go back to the place that they were meant to be. Can I tell you, I'm about 90%. I still have a little bit of arthritic stuff because I really injured a ton of, I broke it in 5 places. Um, and thank God I didn't have that surgery. If I'd had it, this bone would have been in shorter. And my bones, I have like 90% functioning. Every now and then there'll be a little bit of clicking, whatever, but I'm telling you guys, this works. You can talk to your body. Let me tell you what happens when you are not, when you are having dis-ease in relationships, because this is really what I'm here. I'm going off in tangents because I want you to know how freaking powerful you are. What it shows up for you. So what happens in relationships when you are out of alignment? And I'm just going to cover this for a few minutes. You can Google this. Louise Hay wrote a book called "You Can Heal Yourself." I used to have it sitting right here, but now I don't see it. You can heal yourself. Look her up, because every single illness that you have, you can relate back to an imbalance in chakras. Specifically, if you're carrying a ton of anger in your body over time, it manifests in the liver. If you're carrying an intense amount of fear in your body, it will manifest in the kidneys. Grief usually sets up in the lungs, will cause infection in the lungs, lung cancer. Stress will usually set up in the heart. Now, these will go to different systems in your body, but that's why very often men will die earlier, very often of heart attacks, because very often, I'm generalizing, men are not taught to talk about their emotions. And so how many times have you heard about men dropping dead of heart attacks like that? Because it goes to their heart, which is, the body is very literal. When your heart is hurting, you get palpitations. When you've carried grief and pain, and when your heart will start having pains. Too much worry will always affect your gut. I have gone through that. I've had major intestinal issues in my life when I've had the most intense times of pain and stress. So those are chakras. When you are having, like I said, when my throat chakra wasn't operating on a healthy in a healthy place, I started getting throat and lung infections. When you are not expressing yourself, when you don't, okay, so when you're not feeling secure, your root chakra, this is an example, is a place of security. Root chakra wraps around the base of your spine, the base of your sexual organs, up under your sits bones and your hips, all around there and into your legs, okay? So when you are feeling not supported, especially around relationship and around money, okay, and around your well being, your home, very often you will start to get lower back problems. A lot of people will get issues in up, down, and around there, anal issues, issues in your legs, pain shooting down your legs. I personally, I do have sciatica because I've got some disc issues, and I work on it every day. I'm asking my body to heal right now. I'm trying to Joe Dispenza myself. I am Joe Dispenza-ing myself. Um, Whenever I feel the most stressed and insecure about money or relationships, my lower back always flares up, and I know it to be true. So I pay attention to it. If you're having issues around your relationships and your sexuality, and so your sacral chakra sits kind of up in your abdomen, and that's your center of creativity. It's your center where your relationship dynamics flow in and out of, and when it's operating in a healthy way, your organs are super healthy. But when you're having things go off, relationship issues, inability to suppress emotions, and you're stuffing stuff, it will very often show up in issues in the reproductive system, specifically for women. Cancer of the reproductive organs, reproductive issues, that is unresolved stress, unresolved relationship issues that are harboring in the body. Solar plexus chakra is here right below at the base of your sternum. That's your soul center. Often when it's healthy, you're feeling joy and passion. Again, when these systems are healthy and you have every ability to, within a short amount of time, reestablish them into harmony by taking control and doing some of the techniques that you will learn from me in my groups and that I've been sharing with you about expanding these centers. But when your solar plexus is not functioning properly, you're having a disconnection from yourself. You're not meditating, you're not praying, you're disconnected from higher your soul's voice, you will start to feel very weighed down. You're not going to feel that lightness that you feel when you're connected. You will feel heavy, and it will affect all the other organs in your body. You'll have an inability to move forward. Okay, so if you're really stuck, the answer is connecting to your soul center. Your heart, again, if your heart is closed, I'm about to tell you about my next program. It's called Heal Your Heart. If your heart has been closed because of old trauma that wasn't your fault, but you're holding it, there are certain steps that you can go through, you can choose to go through to loosen that area and get it flowing again in a healthy way. And it means releasing that old trauma. You will start when your heart is clogged up. Not only will you have heart issues, but you will get like some lung issues because that's in the chakra area too. Often it will go into bronchitis. That these areas will intermingle with each other, and you can have blood pressure issues. It comes from heart issues. Again, throat, I've already talked about that. Third eye, when you're not being open, you're closed off, you're set in your way. And you probably are thinking about people in your life. When you're not growing the way that you really want to grow, you will start to you'll be very cynical. You're disconnected from your third eye, your intuition. You won't trust others. You won't trust yourself. You're a victim. People that sit in victim consciousness have completely closed down their third eye, because your third eye knows how fucking powerful you are and how easy it is for you to get what you need from the earth, from your inner source, from people that love you, from love, the love frequency, instead of seeking it from outside of you and then deciding that you're going to give your power away because everybody leaves you, everybody betrays you, everybody fucks you over. People that walk around with that mindset are always going to have paranoia, cynicism, which is then going to affect all the other systems in their body. Your last physical chakra is your seventh, your crown chakra. When you're not connecting to source, connecting to your higher power, again, this is about learning to communicate and wisdom. You're going to be super sensitive. You'll maybe will. This is a very balancing chakra, right? Like it connects you to the divine. People that aren't open in their crown, you'll feel imbalanced. You'll have really poor coordination. You'll feel confused because it also affects the mind, right? So just to give you guys an example, I wanted to ground you all in how important it is to heal your systems and heal your organs and work from a perspective where you know that you have all the control. You have all the, besides the 10% that's genetic, and you can heal that. You can ask your body to start healing it. Spirit has shown me that it takes like a cycle of so like I've had skin disorders, and there's a lot of issues that I've had, and so the amount of time that it takes the body to typically regenerate itself, so let's say like maybe it's a moon cycle, okay, so like about a 30-day period. So start telling your body in that particular area, look at the energy center that's related to that area. Again, looking up Louise Hay's work, or you can DM me and I'll shoot something to you. Look at what's clogged, thank your system for healing, and then start tending to that area. I teach a course, I have a course on my website called Freedom Pathway, and it goes through all the ways to heal your chakras and loosen up all that's trapped energy so that you can operate in a healthy way. Because when your chakras are flowing, you guys, you will find so much peace in your life, so much love. And then again, you are a magnet to attracting more of that. You will always attract what you are. And we're moving into, there's a bunch of spiritual understanding about moving into new earth as well for my star seeds. So you will start moving into your version of 4D and 5D and new earth. And then all of that negative paradigms, all of that fear, once you practice this in a way that it becomes your normal, like it is with mine, all that stuff can't exist. Yes, you'll have moments. Yes, you'll get triggered because you're still a human here on earth, but you will have perfected returning to the peace that your heart desires. Okay, let me tell you guys real quickly about an opportunity you have to work with me moving forward. I've developed a program. I'm still developing it. I'm going to be developing it with you guys. It's called Heal Your Heart. You can look at it right now. I'm going to drop the link in this feed. It's at, actually, I've dropped it in the feed on Facebook, but on Instagram, you will see it in my link tree. It's at Dr.Karin, DoctorKarin.com// heal your heart. This program was created out of my own personal experience, my work with clients over the past 25 years, my understanding of the psychology, the sociology, the physical nature, and the spiritual nature of your body, and about how you have every ability to heal your heart, which then will heal naturally the other systems in your body, like we were just talking about, because your emotions they want to be expressed, they want to be understood. And so this week we've talked about all of the ways that you are are blocking it, if you're not feeling ease in your life, it's because your heart is really asking to be healed. These emotions, it's, the trauma was not your fault, but healing it is your responsibility for your now and your future. I want to walk you home. I want you to find what I have found. I want you to find the center of you again. It's a 6-week group program. And so what we're going to do is we're going to pick a time during the week, probably on Tuesday and Wednesday when I'm in groups like this. I usually let you guys vote, and then I pick the time that is the best for everybody, which I love doing because this is a collective experience. And then we meet every week. We're going to start on January 29th, which is in I think 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. And we're going to be then meeting once a week. You will get worksheets every week, which I call fun sheets actually. You will get like kind of a workbook that you'll be able to put together over time where you can work in your own time. I'm going to be sending you daily love bombs on your phone. We're using that for the first time through SMS messaging. You're going to get spiritual exercises, spiritual experiences with me every week. You're going to be a member again, those of you that joined this Facebook group. This group will be a very much more intimate, connected group. Every time I've done groups like this, I've taught the Love Shift. I saw a lot of alumni on here. Freedom Pathway. I've taught Worthy. When I do these groups, when we are meeting weekly, and then you have this Facebook group, if you've never done that, it's scary when you first start. Most people are nervous. They don't know anybody. They're like, this is like what I'm going to be going in this group about my heart. I promise you, Spirit has already worked out who is meant to be there, who is going to feel like this is a calling on their heart. And the group that gathers is going to be I am very intentional about forming a sacred, safe space. If there's ever any wonkiness or anyone feels unsafe, which has only barely happened one time, and it was a matter of us working those dynamics out. And it doesn't, what happens is, but the beautiful part was, if somebody ever speaks out of line, everybody's dealing with their own stuff. And then this healing happens because of it, because the group will end up them bringing compassion forward. And what at first felt like a challenge will then become more of an opening and awakening to other people's stories and then your story. And then you not only get to be healed and supported by other people in this group, but you get to, and you will have healing wisdom flowing through you where you are I see you, Sherry. Yeah, I have a dad like that too. Where you are then being supported in a way that is something you've never experienced before. The people that find themselves in these groups, they become lifelong friends. A lot of them end up doing retreats together in the future. By the way, I'm going to be having a retreat probably early summer, my Wild Wonder retreat. I'm planning that next. But this Heal Your Heart program is going to be incredible. So you can find it. The link is here, drkarin.com, Heal Your Heart. I get you. I want you to find that balance, that center of you in a way that will, what happens when you do this work is you not only have this beautiful group experience, but you will start to find that you're lighter in the world. You're not getting sick as much. Your emotional we're going to regulate your emotions. We're going to clear that old trauma. We're going to be doing some really awesome spiritual rituals and ceremonies, which I love doing because I'm sure there'll be like another new moon and a full moon, and we'll be able to work with earth elements. I love doing that. I love showing you how to manage and regulate yourself, because what I hear over and over again is people, like we covered in day one, they're lost on these thought loops about like, they're going to leave me. When's the other shoe going to drop? Everybody abandons me. I'm going to get hurt again. I can't open my heart again because I know what happens. Well, when you believe that, you're going to have a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Like, it's going to happen. So we have to look at, where did that come from? How can we work that out through your energy body? Let's look at the emotions that are really under it and why you were taught to believe it. And then let's change it. Like, within 6 weeks, you will have a shift. The program is built around each week. Week one, we're going to be looking at, it's going to be similar but much deeper to what we went through this week. Week one, we're going to be looking at your head. Again, we're going to take a deep dive, and we're going to be looking at your story specifically. You're going to have interactive opportunities for you to explore your own history, your story, and rewrite a new paradigm for yourself. Week two, we're going to be looking at your emotions. We're going to look at how to regulate yourself. I'm going to give you very immediate tools you can use. And so, none of this is an instantaneous healing. The reason this is 6 weeks is because we're going to be practicing, and we're going to be circling back around to where you're going to get so used to this that it becomes habit, the tools that I'm going to give you. Week three, we're going to be looking at your actions, how you can be doing things, taking inspired actions. I'm going to teach you how to tap into your intuition about how to take action in your specific life based on your circumstance and your relationships that are going to guide you forward in a way that are going to be the best case scenario for you. Because here's how what it all boils down to. You're on a timeline right now that is based on a paradigm of your past because your mind has told you that, and your heart is holding on to old emotions and it hasn't healed them yet. For you to jump to a timeline where you're getting something new that you really desire, which I'm calling in this program a higher love, higher, you want that higher vibrational love. What you guys told me in the Facebook group is you want to feel more connected. You want deeper relationships. That is an innate craving in you. For you to find that, you have to upgrade yourself. And to do that, you have to clear, you have to rewire. This 6-week program, we're going to be doing that in the most compassionate, wonderful, fun way. Witchy stuff, spiritual stuff, fun stuff. I want to pop you open and bring you back home. Week 5, we're going to have week 4, we're going to have an integration week where it's going to be all about self-love. You guys are going to love that week. Week 5, we're going to be doing the release ceremonies. We're going to be looking at this beautiful experience. I'm going to show you how to pull energy cords out of your body, how to draw disconnection from people you don't want to be connected to anymore, how to release emotions from your body. And then the last week, we are going to be grounding into your transformation, setting intention on what you want moving forward and connecting you to the timeline that is going to bring that into your life. You guys, it is going to be so powerful and it's super affordable. I'll just tell you, when you guys look, this program, I haven't offered something this affordable in so long, but I'm very excited to do it because I want more of you to have this experience. I'm offering it for $9.99. Like, that is it. $9.99, you're getting this program. Those of you that have worked with me know that I have sessions that are a 90-minute session with me is $99. For you to work with me on a one-on-one level, you guys, my one-on-one clients get, the ones that are meeting with me weekly that get elite coaching, that is a $12,000 package over 3 months. Okay. So just to price ground you there, like, I have reached such a high level with my practice that I'm able to do that because I call in people that are ready for that level of work. Now, that's my one-on-one work. This is a group program. You're getting it for $9.99 because I want you to be able to come into this beautiful season of change where 2024 can be all that you desire. I also have a payment plan. If you want to pay 2 payments of $555, that's in there too. You're going to see all of this on this page. One more thing I want to tell you. The page, by the way, we're still finishing it. This is happening in real time, but I know exactly how this program is going to go and it's going to unfold so magically. There's one more thing I want to tell you. You're going to get an option. You're going to look at this. You're going to get an option. My favorite thing to do is live events. Okay. So you're going to get an option in this. There is a VIP upgrade if you want it. I'm offering an upgrade for only $888. And you guys, it's so I can cover the cost and cover the day in Atlanta. We're going to be having it here in Atlanta. It's going to be like a mastermind of your heart. We're going to be doing a heart activation. The program starts, by the way, January 29th until the second week of March. And um, the date's on here. I don't think the date's on this that I'm looking at right now, but oh, I know where I put it. Uh and by the way, if most of the group can't show up for a certain thing, I'm very flexible. The group is going to be running from oh, why did not put this in here? Oh shoot. Okay, I'm sorry. I did not put it in here. It's the second weekend in March. Okay, whatever that Saturday is, we're going to be having this day of activation in Atlanta, and it's a bonus VIP option if you want it. I'm going to host a VIP experience where you're going to get for an additional 88 if you want to do it. And I'm really hoping that members. I didn't want to make it a part of it because I know everybody can't do this. I wanted to have it be a VIP experience because this is going to be your ultimate up level. Those members that choose to do it, we're going to gather here. I'm going to have this beautifully luxurious, sacred setting. We're going to do all kinds of activations. You're going to be with me in person. That means you're going to get hands-on experiences. I'm going to work my healing magic over you. And it's, by the way, it's magic that just flows through me. I will be doing readings with everybody that comes, because it is something that's my favorite thing to do. You're going to get a gourmet chef prepared lunch. We're going to gather together, and then we're going to gather again later after we do all of the activation experiences, group bonding, self-growth experiences, and then we're going to join back together at night for a luxury cocktail party to celebrate what we experienced during the day. So that is a VIP option for $888 if you want that upgrade. If not, the program, the 6 weeks with this beautiful tribe, is $9.99. And you guys, what I'm going to offer today, anyone that signs up, and I haven't put this on the site yet, I need to get my team to do that, but anyone that signs up by midnight tomorrow, that is Saturday night, midnight on January 13th, if you go ahead and jump in now, the early bird bonus I'm going to give you is I'm going to do however many I need, calls with 4 people in the meet, group reading calls, where you will get on with with 3 other people. So I'll do however many I need, however many sign up over the next day or two. 4 of you on a call. I'm going to do a group reading for you. That's your bonus if you sign up by midnight tomorrow night. My readings are usually about my readings are usually close to $1,000 when I'm spending this much time with somebody. We're going to get on and I'm going to pull cards for everybody that comes on and do a group reading where you're going to probably get about 15 to 20 minutes of just time, and you get to listen to what other people have coming forward and participate in this beautiful experience. So I'm going to give that to you as a bonus. If you sign up by midnight tomorrow night, you will get to participate in a group reading just with me and 3 other people, where you will get specific attention, cards drawn for you that are going to talk about what has happened in your life, what's happening now, and what you can set your sights on for the future. What I do is I channel your angels and your guides and your ancestors that always have information filled with love and encouragement and inspiration and support for you. So that's a bonus I'm going to give you. I haven't put that on the page yet, but we're going to be doing that by tomorrow. So if you sign up by midnight tomorrow night, you get this $1,000 value bonus for totally free. So I'll make sure that you get that. Okay, so it will be in my feed. I thank you guys so much for coming. I hope I get to work with you in the future. I hope that either if you want to do some really deep work and do the one-on-one work, reach out to me. I have an application for that. If you want in on this program, go ahead and sign up now so you get that free bonus group reading and you get to have that awesome spiritual experience with me. I can't wait to see you inside Heal Your Heart. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to reach out to me. Don't be afraid to DM me or message me, and I will make sure that me or someone on my team gets back to you with any questions that you have. Thanks, you guys, for being with me today. Remember, you're here for a magnificent reason. Thank you for participating in the Breakthrough Bootcamp. I hope I get to work with you in the future. Namaste.